back, second graders. Now we're going to be starting plants and their needs. Let's take a look at this picture. It shows lots of flowers and plants. How many different plants do you see? And what questions do you have about the garden? We can see a variety of colors. We can see tall trees, grass, some fruits here. We're going to be learning all about how plants grow and what they need to grow. Our key vocabulary are dispersal, germinate, pollen, seed, flower, leaves, pollination, seedling, fruit, nutrient, root, and stem. Kayla wants to be a landscape architect. Landscape architects design the placement of plants outside buildings and houses to make them look nice. They also decide the best plants to use in the area they're designing. Kayla wants to know what plants need to live and grow. Write or draw what you think. So since we haven't started the chapter yet, this is all just a guess, and there's no right or wrong answer. And by the end of the chapter, we'll learn everything that plants do need to grow and survive. Do all plants need water? Two friends are talking about the needs of plants. Which friend has the best idea about what plants and water? Do all plants need water? Two friends are talking about the needs of plants. Which friend has the best idea about plants and water? Isabella says, I think all plants need water. And Faye says, I think most plants need water, but there are some plants that do not need water. Who do you think is right? It's Isabella. All plants do need water. Water is and we've seen this in the previous chapter as well, it's one of the things that is most important for plants and animals to grow. Look at the photo of the garden. What do you notice about what is growing there, and what questions do you have? So again, look at the different types of plants. You might ask, do some need more sunlight than others? Do some grow faster than others? If so, why? So the question we're going to be looking at is why plants need water. So let's use these flashcards to learn more about the definitions that we have. This is a flower. Do you know what this part is called? This part is the stem. So the flower is at the top of the stem. The parts at the bottom that grow under the soil or underground are the roots. And roots drink up water, and they take the water up to the stem and to the flower. These, of course, are the leaves, and you can see that the leaves grow on the stem, and then usually the flower will grow at the top or sometimes out from the stem. This is a seedling. A seedling is a small plant. So before the plant has grown fully, before its leaves have even opened up, it's called a seedling. Here's the seed, and from the seed grows the seedling. And here are the roots growing into the soil. Let's try to answer some of these questions using the words flower, root, stem, germinate, and leaves. Match each plant part with its function. The stem. The stem allows food to travel through the plant. Because the stem is the part that goes up from the roots to the plant, and it takes food to the leaves, to the flower, So the stem is the part that allows the food to travel through. The leaves, they take in air. So because they're above the ground and they're in the sunlight and in the oxygen in the air and the carbon dioxide, they take in air and use sunlight to make food. So leaves take in air and use sunlight to make food. Flowers make seeds and fruit. Sometimes when you open up a little flower, you can see the seeds inside. And roots take in water and minerals. Water and minerals are two things that you find in the soil. And since roots are the only part of the plant that are inside the soil, the roots take in water and minerals. So which two parts help move water through a plant? So we said roots, because they start off in the soil. They take the water up into the plant. And then how does the water continue up the plant? It goes through the stem. So the two parts that help water move through a plant are roots and stem. Let's look at seeds and water. Seeds need water. What do seeds need? A plant begins life as a seed. When a seed is planted in the soil, it can germinate or begin to grow. So germinate means beginning to grow. A seed needs water, nutrients, which can be found in the soil, and the right temperature to begin growing. So if it is too hot or too cold, the seed will not grow. The seed soaks up water. So the seed kind of drinks up water from the soil. It breaks through the covering called the seed coat. So if you break a little seed, you'll see that it has a coat on the outside, and inside is where the parts that grow are. Roots grow down due to gravity. A stem pushes itself up and out of the seed coat to the surface. So only the roots are underground. The seed and the roots are underground, and the stem grows above the ground. Hydroponics. Seeds and plants need water to live and grow. In fact, water is so important that you can grow plants in a special water solution and not have to use any soil. A seed will germinate, that means begin to grow, the same way it does when you place it in soil. The water has the nutrients and the right temperature the seed needs. All kinds of flowers, fruits, and vegetables can be grown in this way. Growing plants in hydroponics, that means just in the special water, like this lady is doing over here, it's just water, there's no soil, makes the plants grow faster since the roots don't have to work so hard in the soil. Because in the soil, the roots would have to look for the water and absorb the water, and would have to look for the nutrients. But this water already has all the nutrients, all the food that the plant needs, so it's easy for the plant to find it and to grow. These plants can also grow larger than plants grown in soil. So now that we've read that article, let's look at this question. What does a seed need to germinate? A seed needs the right temperature, water, and nutrients, which it finds in the soil. What are the first plant parts you see after a seed germinates? The first parts are Do you remember what grows underground? You have the roots, and then above the ground, you see the stem. Remember, these two parts are also the parts that carry water. And how does a seed germinate in hydroponics? So hydroponics is growing the seed only in water, in a special water solution. The seed germinates the same way it does in the soil. So the same way it germinates or grows in soil. It uses the water and nutrients to break the seed cover or the seed coat so the roots grow and the stem. And remember, seeds that are grown in hydroponics grow faster than they do in soil. They can also grow larger. Here's a fun task that you can do, and all you need are crayons or colored pencils. Draw a picture of a flowering plant. You will draw a before and after picture of a flowering plant that has not been watered. So draw and label a flowering plant that has been watered. So if it has been watered, the roots are already down. You can maybe draw a line across, and under would be the soil, above would be the air. So under you would draw the roots, so lots of squiggly lines, and then you draw the stem. You can draw a couple of leaves coming out, and then you can draw a flower, because this flower has had water, and water has helped the roots to grow, and the stem to grow, the leaves, and the flower. Now draw and label a flowering plant that has not been watered. Because it doesn't have water, maybe only the roots have started to grow, but because it doesn't have enough water, the stem might not be able to grow. Or if it does, maybe the stem is tilted downwards, it's starting to fall, and the flower head might even be on the ground, because all plants need water to grow. Now think about this question. Think about the photo of the garden at the beginning of the lesson. Use what you have learned to explain why plants need water. To make it a little clearer, here is an example of a plant with water versus a plant without water. You can see the plant with water has strong stems and healthy leaves and flowers, and it's all being lifted up and it's in the air. The plant without water doesn't have enough nutrients taken up, because water helps the nutrients or the minerals or the food from the soil to be pushed up into each part of the plant. So when the water helps the food come up, it brings nutrients to the leaves and to the stem and to the flowers, and that's why they're able to grow. Without water, we can't take all the nutrients and food up to the plants. So that's why these plants, the flowers, are dying. Let's move on to lesson 2. Do plants need light? Do all plants need light? Two friends are talking about the needs of plants. Which friend has the best idea about plants and light? Isabella says, I think all plants need light. And Faith says, I think most plants need light, but there are some plants that live only in the dark. Who might be correct? Isabella, because all plants need light. Look at the photo of plants growing in the ball. What do you notice about the container they are growing in? And what questions do you have? Well, the container is glass because we can see through it. So because it's glass or clear, it allows sun to pass through. We might wonder what type of plant it is, how it can grow in a ball, and maybe some other questions. What will happen to a plant after 1 week with no sunlight on its leaves? Here's an experiment you can try using 2 potted plants, aluminum foil, tape, and hand lens. Do a plant's leaves need sunlight for the plant to grow? You can find out by doing the investigation. Tape foil over all the leaves of one of the potted plants. So you're going to cover all the leaves with bits of foil. And then place both plants in a sunny location and water them when needed. And after 1 week, remove the foil from the leaves. Using a hand lens or a magnifying glass, observe the differences between the leaves on the 2 plants. You can also draw what you've seen. What happened to the leaves that were covered with foil, and what happened to the leaves that were not covered in foil. Let's take a look at this and listen to what they have to say about how plants use their parts to live and grow.
How plants use their parts to live and grow. What plants need. Plants are living things. They need light, air, and water to live and grow. Like other living things, plants also need food to survive. Food provides nutrients or substances that help living things grow and stay healthy. Plants need light and air to grow. However, plants do not have mouths. They do not need mouths because they do not eat food the same way animals and people do. Plants make their own food instead of eating animals and other plants. Plants need food to grow. Plants need water to grow. How plants make food. Plants use light energy from the sun to change air and water into food. Some plants can grow indoors. They also can use light energy from certain types of light bulbs instead of from the sun. Plants make their own food. Plants store the food they make to use later when there is no light. Plants can pass this stored food on to other living things. For example, some plants are used to make bread for people to eat. People get nutrients from bread. People eat bread made from plants.
So here they've talked about what light energy or what light is used for in plants. Light is used by the plant to make food. Right? So plants use light energy from the sun to change air and water into food.
Roots help plants grow. Plants come in all shapes and sizes. Most plants have leaves, stems, and roots. These parts have a special job to help plants grow and live. These parts can look different on different kinds of plants, yet the job is the same. Roots let water into a plant and store the food the plant makes. Roots take in water and minerals from soil.
So the roots are used to drink up or to take in water and nutrients to the plant. Water is important because water helps push the nutrients up the stem and the leaves and then soon the flower so that each part has nutrients or food to grow.
Minerals in the soil also help plants grow. A mineral is a natural solid in the ground. Roots take in minerals for plants too. Roots store food for plants. Leaves help plants grow. Leaves are the part of a plant that uses light, water, and air to make food. Sometimes called the food factory of plants, leaves use sunlight to change air and water into sugar. This sugar is a main source of food used by most plants. Leaves come in many different shapes and sizes. but they all catch light, and they all have openings that allow air to come and go. Leaves take in air and use sunlight to make food. The main job of a leaf is to make food for a plant. Stems help plants grow. The stem of a plant is the part that holds up the plant, its leaves, and its flowers. Stems allow leaves to reach the light they need to produce food. Stems have another important job as they work together with roots and leaves. Water and food travel through the stem. Each part of a plant works together with other parts. Stems carry water and minerals taken up by the roots to the leaves. The food produced by the leaves moves to other parts of a plant through the stem. With each of its parts, a plant gets what it needs to live and grow. Plants have different parts that help them live and grow.
So now that we've seen the meanings of nutrient and mineral, let's see if we can answer some of these questions. What do plants use to make their own food? Do you remember? We said plants need sun or light from the sun and air to make their food. Food provides all living things with nutrients to live and grow. Here's an activity you can try. How leaves help a plant get light. What shape and size of a leaf help a plant collect the most sunlight? So if leaves want to collect as much sunlight as possible, because sunlight helps to create food for the plant, you'd want large, flat leaves, and that would help the leaves get the most sunlight for the plant. Here's an activity you can try. Can a seed begin to grow in a plastic bag? Make a prediction. Will a seed begin to grow in a plastic bag with or without water? So you can just write what you think. If you think yes, you can say yes, I think it will grow. If you think no, say no, I don't think the plant would grow in a plastic bag with or without water. And here's the investigation you can try. Fold each paper towel into quarters. Put 2 tablespoons of water onto one of the folded towels. So one will have water and one won't have water. Place the wet towel into a plastic bag and label the bag water. Place the dry paper towel in another bag and label it no water. Place 3 seeds into each bag and seal the bags, and then place them in a sunny spot. Observe the seeds every day for 5 days and record your observations by drawing pictures and labeling them in the table. Find out if any of the seeds changed, and if so, how. Did you start to see a seedling? Did the roots start to grow out? Did the seed coating break? And why do you think the seeds changed? Do you think water was important in helping the seeds to change, to grow, to see roots?